Hello, everyone. My name is James St. Peter. I'm the Executive Vice President of Sales at Prestige Global Meeting Source. Thank you so much for joining today's webinar with Four Seasons. At Prestige, we strive to provide meeting planners with the tools and resources they need to create the best meetings and events possible. Our services include sourcing hotels, DMCs, cruises, contract review and negotiations, virtual event solutions, as well as financial offerings such as VAT reclaim and meeting escrow. Those services are brokered by Prestige and are complementary to our clients. In addition to those, we can also provide full event support to our clients, such as on-site logistical and planning services, air ticketing, gifting options, as well as registration and housing assistance. Those services are operated by our talented in-house event services team and are offered on an a la carte basis. Our goal is and has always been to help alleviate the administrative weight on our clients' shoulders so they can focus on the bigger picture. If there is a need as it relates to meetings and events, we have a solution. As we have all experienced a disruption in our face-to-face gatherings over the past 6 months, we have seen a significant demand from our clients to help them understand what hotels and brands are doing to ensure their guests are safe. One of those brands that has led the way is Four Seasons. Through its collaboration and partnership with Johns Hopkins Medicine International and grounded in the principles of care, trust, and service, Four Seasons has implemented across its brand the initiative Lead with Care. We are so excited to have everyone on our call today to learn more about this amazing program from Jamie Shamhart, our Global Account Manager with Four Seasons, and several of the properties who are open and operating programs right now. With that, Jamie, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Jimmy. It's great to be here. My name is Jamie Shamhart, and I'm the global representative that manages the Prestige account for Four Seasons. In the Pacific Northwest, we have Sarah Scadden, who's out on maternity leave. So right now, Erin Lachez is pictured here, and she's supporting while Maddie is on leave.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you, Jamie. We thought that this would be a great opportunity for me to just say a quick hello. As Jamie said, my name is Erin Lachez, and I will be covering for Sarah while she is out on leave through February of next year. I've been with Four Seasons for 13 years, so happy to be back and helping out. So if there's anything that you need, please let me know. Back to Jamie.
Thanks, Erin. So thanks everyone for joining. It's obviously the most unusual time in our industry. It's great partnerships like the one we have with Prestige and with all of you that will really move us through this changing and challenging time together. This afternoon, we're going to be sharing insights to the operating of our hotels globally with our Lead with Care program. The program was created with the support and in conjunction with Johns Hopkins Medicine International, as Jimmy mentioned. We're also going to be covering innovative ways our clients are meeting right now. And hopefully with some time at the end, we'll honor the honor, but hopefully we'll have time at the end to talk about a few new developments. There is a chat feature that you can use. We are going to be breaking a few times for Q&A, so you don't have to hold questions till the very end. But if you have a burning question, put it in the chat box, and then we have people watching for that as well. Sounds like everybody's got their phones muted, so if you could mute them unless you're asking a question, that would be great. Full transparency, I've got dogs locked away back here, but if they bark, I apologize in advance. So let's get started. We have several hotels on the call. Again, I'm Jamie, and then we have Kristen Biffro. Kristen is with our Whistler Resort. Kelly Vasallo represents Four Seasons Punta Mita and Four Seasons Resort Nevis, and today she's going to be focusing on Punta Mita. And then both Callie Posh and Lance Peters are with the Dallas property. Lance is director of marketing there and has been watching program after program operate at the hotel. So we have these hotels are all open right now, all welcoming guests, all welcoming social events, private events, meetings. They're your boots on the ground right now and a great reference for what we're doing as a brand. So to get started, welcome back. Welcome back is our website, and it was shared about 3 months ago. As our hotels have reopened, this is your guide on the hotel status, including updates on restaurants. So when you go to fourseasons.com, our COVID messaging will be populated immediately at the top, and the link is in that messaging. So when you click on the link, this is what you see. And it's divided by areas of the world. And when you click on one of the little plus signs, what you'll get is all of the hotels in that region of the world. You see that whether they're open, they're closed, when they will be open, and then if it's impacting spa or any other offerings at the hotel. This is not a current shot. I took this over a month ago, so this is not today. But this is updated weekly and sometimes daily by hotels, and it's a really great tool for current updates on our properties. So as Jimmy mentioned, Lead with Care, this is our global safety program with Four Seasons. We are in partnership with Johns Hopkins. It's really founded on several pillars. Enhanced cleanliness to already really stringent protocols with Four Seasons, heightened guest safety and comfort, and educated, trained, and empowered employees to serve our guests and continue to deliver Four Seasons service, and that intuitive service that all of our guests have come to know and love. So I thought it would be interesting to take you through the guest experience. In the launch with Lead with Care, we shared this guest experience, and this is how we're integrating into the hotels now. Understanding that information is so important as people begin to travel. Our guest experience actually starts pre-arrival. So before they arrive, guests are updated on our screening process at arrival time, so there are no surprises. They're updated on the app, and they get an overview of any changes or updates to expect with their coming experience at the property they're traveling to. Upon arrival, every guest is screened at every Four Seasons hotel. This protects the safety of our guests currently in-house, and it also protects our employees. So each guest receives a Lead with Care kit with a mask, sanitizer, and other items that keep them safe while they're in the hotel. Check-in is via the app, and departure is contactless as well, unless a guest chooses a personal checkout experience, and then we're happy to accommodate that as well. I will show you the app here. The app is an award-winning app, and what you'll see here with our app is that there are no robots. Each app is monitored at each hotel by a live Four Seasons employee. And they're managed by the employees at each hotel because it's a great way for our property teams to maintain the personal connection with our guests. In our Lead with Care environment, you can check in, check out, you can order room service, order in restaurants, you can call for your car, you can connect with housekeeping and schedule when you'd like housekeeping to come. You're a single step away from our care and service. It's just via the app. These are just a few of the features in the app. And many of you already use this if you travel with Four Seasons. There's a lot of other great stuff in there, so I encourage you to download it. In the Lead with Care slide I had up previously, you would have seen that there were also updates to housekeeping, to spa and other services, to meetings and events. Rather than walking you through all of that, hypothetically, we've got a couple of our hotels here, as noted, that are going to share what it looks like now. So starting with the pre-arrival and arrival, which is so key, because when we get this right from the beginning, our guests and employees are safe. So Kelly with Punta Mita, can you take us through this process as a brand at Punta Mita?
I'd love to. Thanks, Jamie, and thank you everyone again for joining us today. Again, I'm Kelly Vassallo, and I represent the Four Seasons Resort Punta Mita, pictured here, as well as Nevis, as Jamie mentioned. I am the lucky one who gets to represent two of our beautiful properties, but today's focus will be on Punta Mita. We reopened our property there on July 1st, and we are ready and have been welcoming back both our leisure and our group guests. We are located approximately 45 minutes from the Puerto Vallarta International Airport, and our 177-room recently renovated resort is located within a secure gated community of Punta Mita. In addition to our resort rooms, we offer 30 residences and villas, 2 golf courses, 2 pools, 2 beautiful beaches, a lazy river, and 4 fantastic and unique dining options. Our spa, fitness program, and cultural concierge ensure that you have everything you need within the safety of our resort grounds. As Jamie mentioned, we've launched an enhanced global health and safety program at Four Seasons properties worldwide. which includes temperature checking across the brand. Currently, we are the only luxury hotel company that's doing this at every single one of our hotels. We email all of our guests at least 72 hours prior to their stay and communicate what to expect upon arrival and during their visit. Guests understand the screening process and any changes to restaurants, housekeeping, spa, pool, and so on. We feel by setting these expectations in advance, guests are prepared for any changes to their experience and the arrival is seamless. As you can see on the left of this slide, this is our temperature thermal screening station in Punta Mita. It takes just a few seconds max to read your temperature, and we do have representatives from our Lead with Care team there to assist if needed. This exact same setup is located at our employee entrance, so rest assured that anyone in the hotel has been screened every time they leave and return. To recap a few of the standards that we have in place, we do require masks or facial coverings for all guests and employees. We can provide these masks to you if needed, as well as additional sanitation products upon request as part of our Lead with Care welcome kit. At the Four Seasons Punta Mita and likely many of our resorts and hotels, we do recommend that you book your transportation through the hotel or resort, as we can then ensure that the services offered are following the same protocols and guidelines as our hotel. As a reminder, we can offer contactless check-in for our guests as well through the Four Seasons mobile app. You can completely check in prior to arrival. So once you're screened at the entrance, you're handed your room keys and off you go directly to your room. It is a very easy process, whether you are a leisure or a group guest. And of course, if you want a personal check-in experience, we're happy to do that as well. We are in Orlando. This is just another example of one of our sister properties featuring a safe and seamless arrival process. And I'll turn it back to you, Jamie.
Thanks. We have Team Dallas with us as well, and I'd love for you all to share what's happening at your property.
Yeah, hi everyone. It's so great to see you all again. Thanks so much for giving us the time today to chat a little bit about what's happening day in and day out at our properties. So right now in Dallas, once your reservation has been made, a pre-arrival email will go out about 72 to 48 hours in advance, and it goes into detail about how the hotel is operating, if there are any limited services, if any outlets are opened or if they're closed. It will also set the expectation of what is expected of the guest upon arrival and during the stay. Temperature check as well happens in Dallas as a visual and a verbal screening, along with wearing a mask, of course, indoors and outdoors, and if there is, as long as they're within 6 feet of other guests or staff. A temperature check is taken daily as well after check-in, and you will see that the setup of the thermal pad, sanitation, and statement about health and safety, there's a photo of that right in the middle there, for our guests and in employees. So again, managing guest expectations is really key, and it sets the really the fantastic Four Seasons experience that you're going to have once you arrive on property. So now I'll turn it over to my Director of Marketing, Lance Peters, and he'll talk about what happens once the guest actually arrives on property.
Great, thank you, Kelly, very much, and thank you everybody for taking time today. And I just wanted to touch on kind of the question that is asked and sometimes not asked, but that is when the guest comes in, they go to the thermal scan, and let's say the scan doesn't go quite right. And so our threshold is 100.5 degrees. If you're below that, then you can proceed. And while you're getting scanned, we refer to that as the yellow zone. If you pass the scan, then you move to the green zone, the front desk, or into the lobby, as you can see in the middle screen. Should you not meet that threshold of 100.5, then you move into what we call the red zone. And all of our hotels have a designated area set aside for that guest to step aside for a minute. You know, down here in Texas, it's hot in the summer. You know, maybe they were outside, the temperature was elevated. Maybe they're just a little stressed out from traveling. So we want to give that guest an opportunity to just relax and give them something to drink. And then they come back to see if they can, you know, get through the temperature scan. Then if they pass the scan, great, they move on to the green zone and can proceed with their stay. Unfortunately, we haven't faced this issue, but if they do not meet that 100.5 threshold, and then you kind of go into action from there. And there's various options. You know, the Dallas property has been a regional destination for a lot of leisure guests and a lot of regional groups. If the guest doesn't pass that second scan, then you give them options. If they're a regional guest, you can say, you know, you can proceed back to your car. Highly recommend that you get medical attention. If they've been traveling and they don't have a car to retreat to and return back home, we have a designated room where we can escort them and where they will begin their quarantine, and we will notify medical attention at that point. We'll bring the medical attention to the facility to tend to the guest. At that point, you know, you ascertain what action needs to be taken, and then you go through the steps to remove the guest from the facility back to the hospital or to a safe place. I know some of our destinational resorts like Maui and Cabo have a doctor on site, so immediately that person would jump into action and go from there. But, you know, we want to be empathetic during this process, but yet, you know, the health and safety of our guests and our employees is the utmost concern. So we take this process very seriously, and every hotel has got a very good plan moving forward should they get in an unfortunate situation where someone doesn't pass the screening.
Lance, I appreciate that because it always is the question that everybody wonders what's going to happen. So before we move on to meetings and events and how those look, I just wanted to take a quick break and see if there are any questions on the Lead with Care arrival process, because really once guests are cleared and they're in the hotel, it's a pretty seamless process. So are there any questions in the chat box, or does anybody want to unmute and ask a question at this time? Allie, do we have any questions in the chat box?
There's no questions in the chat. Nope, not yet. Just some nice comments.
Okay. Just a final note, you know, if a guest does show up, if they do have a fever, as Lance mentioned, we try and be as discreet as possible, but we will isolate the guests. They will have the choice to stay and us to get medical attention for them, or they have the choice to leave. But really, it's happened very rarely, and the few times that it's happened, every hotel has guest rooms set aside to take these guests to. So it is a very seamless process, and we're there for our guests no matter what. So we'll move along to housekeeping. And I always like to say, if I wasn't in sales, I'd probably be in housekeeping because I just have a passion for it. So I'm going to take on housekeeping here. As I mentioned at the beginning, our housekeeping standards have also been further enhanced to ensure the environment is optimum for health and safety of our guests. And in fact, in Baltimore, where Johns Hopkins is located, our team there has welcomed the top medical consultants from Johns Hopkins Medicine International to tour our property and to validate the operating guidelines that they've helped us to put in place. And as COVID changes and we find out new things, Johns Hopkins comes over and they say, we think you now need to change and do this and that. So we haven't set up a program that's stagnant. It is a live, living, breathing program. And as we continue to get information and feedback from Johns Hopkins, we update the entire brand. So we continue to be on the forefront of what is most current and what is most safe. Each of our properties does have a hygiene committee, and they're focused on implementing the enhancements that we put in place. So this includes a monthly audit that's performed and scored across the brand. So our hotels are really serious about this. As you might guess, the guest rooms are serviced when guests are not in the room, and a guest can identify when they want to have their room serviced, or if they say we don't want housekeeping to come in at all, they don't have to come in at all. So all of our employees, not pictured here, but all of our employees wear PPE, the gloves and the masks, as required when they're servicing the rooms. The gloves are changed multiple times in the guest room when cleaning to prevent cross-contamination. There's a full change of linens and terry in guest rooms after departure to include any unused items. So for those of you who wonder what happens when I don't use that hand towel, it goes out. Everything is changed out. High touch items in the room have what we call visual indicators to show increased sanitation. As an example, when the remote control is cleaned, it's presented in a plastic sleeve so you know that it's clean and used and ready to use safely. A Lead with Care kit is provided to guests, again, upon arrival or in each guest room, one per guest, so that they get their masks, their hand sanitizer, everything to keep them safe. Disposable cups are added in the room to be used. Room attendants use a black light to make sure that the high-touch areas are cleaned and thoroughly sanitized. And then the housekeeping supervisors also use black lights when inspecting the room. Our time to clean our guest rooms has almost doubled because we're taking so much time to make sure that it's right and it's clean for the guests. Again, as you might imagine, public areas are also a huge focus for us, especially the high traffic areas, the key touch points such as elevator landings, buttons, stairways, handrails, all things where people are young and old are going to be placing their hands. We have high quality air filtration systems throughout our hotels and resorts. Many hotels and resorts have invested to upgrade their filtration systems to make sure that we have the best possible air in the hotels. This cost is not passed along to the guest in the guest room rate. It is an investment that we're making to keep our hotels safe. There are, of course, hand sanitizing stations throughout all of our hotels. Elevator landings, fitness areas where hotels have multiple entrances and exits, they're everywhere. I have to say, I don't know any brand that's doing it as well as we are. I could not be more proud of Four Seasons and the job that we're doing with housekeeping. So meetings and events. Group business is an important segment of our business. As a company, we're focused on creating innovative ways to gather while physically distancing and not sacrificing the Four Seasons experience. As I mentioned, several of our properties are open, including the Las Colinas property. Callie and Lance, can you share some information on your new initiatives, both at Dallas and with the brand?
Great, thank you, Jamie. Yes, so we reopened the resort on June 1st, actually welcomed a group that very first week. So we've been running groups ever since we reopened, kind of smaller, some hybrids, a lot of different types of groups. And one big thing that is taking place in executing groups, and that's just the planning and the pre-arrival, as we talked about with the guests, but the pre-arrival for the groups is critical. We use a tool called social tables to make sure that we have our diagram set up correctly, that we have physical distancing. Here in Texas, we went 25% capacity, 50% capacity. Now we're at 75% capacity. But more importantly, it's the 6 feet distancing, and it's really managing the traffic flow into the general session and to, you know, the food and beverage, the lunches, the dinners, and then how the lunches and dinners are going to work. And where you're going to sit. And, you know, it looks different, but it works well. The screen that I actually have behind me is a meeting that we did last week. You know, you need a lot more square footage than you used to. That's 26 U-shape and 8,000 square feet, right, with dual screen, and they had a hybrid component to it. So, you know, meetings can be conducted. They do take a lot of front end planning and a little bit longer. And I joke a little bit that the art of the conversation is back, because it just doesn't really translate well in email and in text messages. You just really got to jump on the phone and you kind of talk through it, walk through it, and just really map out the entire program. And you can successfully hold a meeting. And we had actually 7 groups come through here last week. So that's a little bit about that. And Callie, did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, no, just as Lance said, we the process on the front end is definitely a lot longer, as I'm sure you all can agree. But it is great. The art of conversation is back. The phone conversations are back, and it takes several months for sure, from start to finish, just to get a contract going. Just with all of the diagrams, and we go back and forth, and we talk about the food and beverage and how does that work. And I'll chat about that in a minute as well, just to show you some new updates that we have in regards to food and beverage. But things have definitely changed. But I think I'm hoping with even though once this all is behind us, we will continue with some of the things that we're doing, because I think it's good practice, and it's I appreciate having the conversations versus the emails and all of that. So in addition to that, staff training, of course, continues to be a focus within Four Seasons in today's environment. So our employees are being further trained and educated in understanding of the disease and the transmission, and providing guidance on appropriate social distancing and, of course, the use of PPE. Employees are also undergoing behavioral coaching, ensuring that our empathetic, personalized care and connection is not lost in the guest interaction.
And here are a few examples of some outdoor set, right? Whenever you can, please, you know, you go outside, you can see the distancing there. You know, and one big thing in executing meetings right now, you can have the pre-planning, you can have the diagrams put in place, but you really got to set the room and make sure that it works correctly, that the outdoor space works correctly, that you got plenty of space for staff to move around, for the guests to move around. And then the execution of food and beverage in the lower right, you can kind of see there's a plexiglass screen there. You know, buffets are a thing of the past. So it's a lot of food stations with attendants handing food to the guests as they make their selection and work their way through the various food selections that we have. And then here's more examples of the creative sets that you can see. I really love the one with the big comfortable chairs, very residential, and then set out with the spacing between the chairs. It's just really important to take the time to map that out. And again, the traffic pattern of the ingress, egress in and out of the meeting space is really critical for both the meetings and the food and beverage.
Yeah, and so Four Seasons is really looking at food and beverage differently now, as we mentioned. Hotels are also setting up a beautiful food display behind plexiglass with banquet staff stationed behind to serve. So the staff will, of course, wear a mask as well as gloves as they're serving the guests. And then in place of guests coming to the buffet, we're bringing the buffet to the guest. So as you can see in the lower left picture, we're creating a smaller distance setup where guests can interact and enjoy the creations that our talented teams of chefs that have created. And then in this next photo, lunch is served in a grab and go setup. So all items are labeled. That's something that, of course, we've done in the past as well, but that way guests can easily grab what they want and it's individually packaged to avoid any contamination. And then we've also found some new ways to really pass hors d'oeuvres. I think these are some really cute and creative ways just to kind of tie in that Four Seasons food and beverage experience and keeping things safe. And then this is an example of how each guest will receive a pre-plated arrangement of tasty treats to enjoy. That's hard to say. And then here you can see the open bar setup. So it's set up with social distancing. You can see the bartender at the end there, and he'll make a drink to order and place it on the table to the left, and then the guests will go and grab it and they'll take it to enjoy. And then just as a reminder, I know a lot of you do know our resort in Dallas, but just so you know, we do have over 41,000 square feet of space. So there's a lot of space to spread out and really physical distance and enjoy the resort. The way the resort is laid out, we have a tower building that does have the majority of the guest rooms, over 300 rooms, but we also have 5 villa buildings that surround the 18th hole of the golf course. And you can see 2 photos here of these villas. Each villa has 34 villas inside, so it's a great opportunity to really physical distance and you can do an all villa group. So the group is, spaced out away from the tower building, but again, only a 3-minute fresh air walk back to the tower, and that's where our conference center is located. And then we also have several great outdoor locations in Dallas, including our 10,000 square foot terrace, which is pictured here, as well as our Outlaw taproom patio. And that flows onto our resort pool, which has over 5,000 square feet of space. So lots of space to spread out. On that pool deck, you will enjoy live music, a roaring fireplace, and of course, a giant Texas-sized margarita as you're checking out that beautiful sunset. So just as a reminder, Dallas is open. We're accepting groups and we're here to welcome you. Just let us know how we can help.
Thank you so much, Callie. And we're going to hear too from Kristen and Whistler just to hear about what's happening up north with our Canadian friends.
Yes, greetings from Whistler. We're located on the west coast of Canada in British Columbia. And unfortunately, the US and Canadian border remains closed through October 21st. But we certainly look forward to welcoming our American friends back soon. For the Canadians on the call, we have 3 wonderful Four Seasons properties in Canada, the Whistler Resort. We also have our flagship hotel in Toronto and a new property that opened in Montreal. So at Four Seasons, I'd like to mention that we also have the opportunity to cater at these very unique offsite destinations. In Whistler, you can take a float plane from Vancouver and land on Green Lake, which this is a 45-minute journey. When you deplane, you can have a beautiful lunch on the Jack Nicklaus golf course. We also can offer a cultural night with exciting First Nation elements at the Cultural Center just across the street from us, or you could have a night under the stars at a farm in Pemberton.
And Kelly, can you share what's happening in Punta Mita?
Absolutely. So right now we're of course being encouraged to be outside as much as possible, and in a beautiful destination like Punta Mita or Nevis, why would you want to be inside? So in Punta Mita we have multiple outdoor spaces to offer, 2 beaches, 2 pools, and we're working on getting creative with those setups to be able to provide physical distancing but still allow guests to take in the destination and the amazing views of the Pacific.
Wonderful. We see that questions are coming in and we'll get to them at the next break, so keep the questions coming. As I mentioned earlier in the presentation, hotel amenities and activities are a key focus for the guest experience for our brand. Our goal is to say, yes, let us figure out how, versus taking away things that the guests have come to enjoy, activities, etc. So each of our properties can share what's available for guests and groups. Many still have the options of pools, golf, activity lawns, biking, hiking, beaches, fitness, wellness, all those things you'd like to take advantage of when you're there. Wine tasting, it's all there. With enhanced cleaning and additional distancing, creating a one-of-a-kind experience is still a goal. And can everybody check to make sure their phones are on mute, please? With activities, reduced capacity buyouts are available in some of our spas and salons when they're open. Some properties have found a way to bring treatments outdoors as well, such as the treatment room you see here at Westlake. Outdoor yoga, meditation, boot camps on our lawns provide extra space to distance. So we're still trying to make all these happen. The Four Seasons Baltimore is an example of an urban hotel, has a catamaran, which has been very popular as an outdoor activity. In short, our property teams are all being very creative still to deliver activities, support health and wellness. So instead of removing these amenities, our teams are finding different and safe ways to deliver everything safely. Kristen, you want to talk a little bit about Whistler?
Sure. Up in Whistler, we have been safely enjoying a lot of activities outdoors this summer and fall. Our guests have been really just taking in that fresh mountain air. The mountain has been operating with ziplining activities, hiking, biking. 3 golf courses are open, and then just really finding that time to relax and kind of reconnect. And the pools and lakes, there's no better place to do it. Excitement is also building for us right now, looking forward to winter. So those activities such as skiing will be opening on November 26th, right around the corner.
Very exciting. I'm not sure I'm ready for snow yet, but I know it's a good thing. So we're going to take a break here again, and I'm going to ask my team and Maddie if there are questions in the chat that we can address now on Lead with Care. And if anybody wants to unmute and ask a question, that's great as well.
There was Kim Anderson asked about, I can see most of it. It's like, how big are your rounds for meetings and events, and how many people can you seat at them? Here in Dallas, we're using a 72-inch round. Local ordinance says that we can go 10, but we don't do that for safety. Some of the weddings that we've done, and it's family members we have, but it's usually 4 to 6 at a 72-inch round is what we've been utilizing here in Dallas.
Yeah. And I think as you're looking to branch out and plan meetings, a good rule of thumb is just to find out what's happening in that state, because sometimes state to state the ordinances are different. Lance, would you agree with that?
It is, and that's one of the challenges of finding out what is the local ordinances, and for us it's the governor, and he's got a special website set up. And he updates it about every 3 weeks, comes out and has a speech.
Yeah.
Jamie, there's another question in here for recap of programs you're holding and the type of companies. This is what is needed to get our leadership in order to start booking. So I'll speak for Dallas. We've seen a wide array, actually. We've seen some oil and gas. We've seen some automotive as well. And then regionally, we've seen a railroad company come through here, and pharmaceutical and medical have come through. And it's a combination of, I've had some just in-person meetings, and then hybrid meetings as well. This question mentions leadership. It is interesting. I think, company culture and that leads to the decision of, is it safe for us to get out? One thing that we face here is the travel restrictions once you return home coming from Texas. and just those ordinances around it. But we've seen a nice array of various industries, but those are the ones that have been coming through mainly, and a little bit of legal.
Yeah, and as a brand, we have seen pharma, medical, insurance, financial, banking, automotive. That's what we've really seen come back first and foremost. But we're also seeing, senior leadership pulling in smaller spaces. We used to be the brand, your hotels aren't big enough, and now people really like the smaller size of seasons. We average 200 to 250 rooms. Santa Fe is 70 rooms and Dallas is over 400, but that's kind of our average size. So for smaller meetings, that's an opportunity for us, and so we're seeing leadership get together with us as well.
Question in here is, what's the largest meeting that you've held in Las Colinas? So we've done a wedding for 175. And I believe 70 is the largest meeting that we've done in person, which took up a lot of space. A lot of people are going with U-shape, but when you get, with our square footage anyway, when you get into those numbers up over 30, we start doing crescents because it seems to be a little more efficient with space utilization.
Great. And someone asked a question about using the app for check-in and check-out, and yes, you would provide your credit card there. We just hand off a key to you when you check in. For someone, there are guests that are like, I'm going to the Four Seasons, I want the full experience. They can come to the front desk and check in, they can do all of that. And other people want a very touchless experience. And for those, they use the app almost 100%. We hand them the key, we're making eye contact, we're smiling behind our masks, and we still provide that service. But yes, credit cards are on there too.
Smile with your eyes. There's a question in there about, is there a PDF available for Lead with Care from Lauren? So it's on our website, right? But I don't know if we've got a condensed version.
You know what, there is to answer. I know that this call is being recorded and is going to be shared back with everybody, with all of the attendees. So I can also provide Prestige with some information to share back if that's helpful, such as the Lead with Care slide that I showed previously, which has a lot of information about the arrival process.
And then Deborah asked, for larger companies, are they willing to do testimonies that would really help our C-level board? The answer to that is yes. We have at least 2 or 3 testimonials up on our meetings and events site that we've had the customers agree to that, and then a few more that we've received. We've pretty much asked every group to come through to give a testimonial, just to share with you guys what the experience is like. It's an anxiety experience to get ready, and I'm going to move forward and go forward. So we wanted, to have some testimonials so you guys could hear straight from fellow planners.
Yeah. I think we're going to move along here. There are some other questions in there we've seen about food and beverage minimums and other questions. I want to make sure we get through the content here. So we'll open up again at the end for some more questions. But this segues really nicely, and it seems like everybody's interested to know how we're meeting right now, how people are meeting. So how are people meeting right now at our hotels? And you've heard a little bit from Lance. There are several things. We have found that hybrid meetings are starting to be of specific interest. And this is meetings taking place across multiple hotels where there's smaller groups at each hotel all meeting at the same time together. There are larger meetings that we can do this with across multiple hotels. Sometimes some people attend, some people don't. We're working with clients to dedicate a guest room floor, a wing of a hotel, or a full function space buyout. So as clients are looking to get back together to collaborate, this can be done with a buyout of space at Four Seasons rather than returning to a larger work environment. For example, we have a company that's bought out our hotel rather than moving back into their very large, highly occupied office tower. So they've taken over a 200-room hotel versus going back into a building with 2,000 people. So that's another option. And that's the complete buyout of the hotel or resort. We also have our private residences, and they provide a great opportunity for smaller VIP or senior leadership programs, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. And Kristen, with Whistler's going to talk about that. But before she does, I wanted to introduce Peggy Wadman, who's going to talk about what they're seeing at Prestige and how they are working with innovating and creating new ways to achieve event success. So Peggy.
Hey everyone, yes, it's Peggy Wadman. I work with the meeting and events team at Prestige. And like Four Seasons, we're striving to create solutions for our clients to achieve event success in this new travel environment. Here are some ideas that we've expanded our knowledge in to help you find the best possible fit for your travel needs. And the first one you'll see there are individual incentives. That was also on Jamie's slide as well. And individual travel incentives are a customizable option for recognizing employees with a personal travel experience, which can be taken solo or with a partner. They offer a solution to avoiding large group gatherings and in this time of social distancing and COVID. If you've had to cancel your group incentive, here are a few reasons why you might want to provide your award winners with an individual travel option. Of course, budget. We can work within your budget. We can help you control the cost of that based on what is your best fit and provide a property that fits that solution. Flexibility. We're going to let your employees choose their destination, the travel window, and whom they get to travel with. That's a massive incentive to them right now in traveling. And then appreciation. Your employees work hard to be the very best at your company. We want to reward them, even in this uncertain time like today with a trip they'll remember. Now, it's not going to look anything like other incentives you've provided in the past, or they might have won in the past, but it's definitely an acknowledgement of their success. And then finally, with well-being, we talk about wellness and well-being. It's important to note that that's time away from home and work, and in most cases, that's the same place, can re-energize your employees. So there are several different ways you can package your individual incentives. You can contact your Prestige salesperson or myself on what the latest offerings are and how we can create the best individual incentive plan for your needs. And on a side note, I can tell you that I know this firsthand. I've worked with Jamie this summer on providing a client proposal that Four Seasons offers a really great product for individual incentives. So definitely check that out if it's something you're interested in. And then along with that is virtual gifting. You can spice up your virtual event with pre-meeting, networking, and post-meeting gifts. Gifting can still be part of your meeting and your incentive travel experience. It's a tangible reminder of the time spent, whether it's virtually or in person. So we recognize your need for a variety of gifting experiences. So we've expanded our network of gift partners, and we're happy to determine what the best fit is for your budget. And then when we get to virtual events, it became very apparent that we needed to help our clients find a way for them to continue to conduct meetings safely. And while some companies have been providing a virtual component via live streaming and recording sessions in the past, taking your existing meeting content to a virtual platform is something completely new and a little daunting. So we discovered early on that we needed to find a virtual production company that could work with our clients to help navigate this new experience. And we've curated a great list of virtual event providers for every meeting need and budget. And we're happy to connect you with them. The next information there in our next round is hybrid events, and Jamie alluded to this on her slide as well, but hybrid events integrate technology with traditional event practices, and they're a really big trend right now. They are a great way to get those team members within a drivable distance to gather at a hotel while other participants can join virtually. There's still a huge need for face-to-face meetings, and the beauty of a hybrid meeting is that it can extend the life of the meeting. Attendees can go online and check in weekly, monthly, yearly. If they can't attend live, then they also have this virtual component. And we can help complement your hybrid meeting with both in-person and virtual team building, assistance with program management, and gifting. And then we have our hub and spoke, which is really it builds on the hybrid concept. Here we work with a hotel-like brand like the Four Seasons who have properties all over the US, and we help select locations based on proximity to your employees or your attendees. And working with a production company that specializes in live and virtual event production, we produce the meeting content at the hub property and broadcast it out to the other spoke locations. Our event services team can assist you with professional travel staff should you need them to operate the in-person meetings in each city, along with overall project management or on a single project basis, depending on what your needs are. We are currently planning with and partnering with the Four Seasons on a 22 city hub and spoke meeting on behalf of one of our clients. It's going to operate and last early to mid-January, and it replaces a 650 person conference. So just another idea of how you can meet in today's environment. So whether it's individual incentives, gifting, virtual hybrid, hub and spoke events, our team at Prestige has a solution for you to consider. And we love to strategize with you on how to continue creating connections, producing meetings, and rewarding your team. So thank you for your time, and thank you Four Seasons for being such a great partner.
Thank you so much, Peggy. It's great information. I'm going to bring it back to Whistler and Snow. We're going to bring it back, and Kristen's going to talk about one of the areas in which we're seeing some success as people are starting to come out small, and that's within our private retreats. So Kristen?
Certainly. So the Four Seasons Whistler, we really are enjoying our private retreat product. We have over the brand, I should say, we have 750 residential options, and they're located in 26 extraordinary destinations, which one of them is Whistler. These range from residents within the property or standalone villas and homes. And what they really offer are all the comforts of home, yet they give you space and privacy and just extraordinary service and experiences with Four Seasons attached. So these residences are ideal for small meetings, VIP get-togethers, or board meetings. And you're taking yourself away from the public space of the hotel into the comforts of home. Yet food and beverage can be catered by Four Seasons, or we can bring the chef into your own kitchen and he can prepare a meal. So we say that these residential products are really the best of both worlds. We are extending in Whistler all the amenities at the resort and then some, with private pool, private fitness center, all within the residence, that you have access to everything on property. And these amenities, they're customized based on the location that you'll find a residence in within the destination.
Thanks, Kristen. Kelly, did you want to share anything about Punta Mita?
Yes, so in Punta Mita, we also offer, I think I mentioned, over 30 villas and residences, multiple bedrooms, living space, and amazing outdoor space to reunite and reconnect.
Great. And just to recap, this is a picture of some of the properties where we have private residences in the United States. So if you have a leadership team that's looking to get together in a smaller space, a little more isolated, this may be an option. And you can reach out to your Prestige contact and they'll be happy we'll brainstorm and find a place for you to bring your leadership together. These are also being used by law firms for arbitrations and trials. They're very flexible spaces. So I want to quickly recap the exciting hotels that we've recently opened, and then share a little bit about what it's going to be looking like for 21 and 22. Four Seasons is in a very strong place. Our company is continuing to open hotels. We're continuing to look forward, and so have no fear. These are properties that opened last year. Just a quick glance: Athens, Bengaluru, Montreal opened. Our second hotel in Boston, Philadelphia, our new Cabo property, the Lodge at Coeli, which was rebranded, and Megève, which is in the south of France. This year, Bangkok has opened, Embarcadero is opening now, and that's 155 rooms. That's our second hotel in San Francisco. The Tokyo at Otemachi property has just opened, and they are very, very close to the Imperial Palace. Amazing location. Four Seasons Madrid just opened, and Napa Valley will be opening in December. And then beyond, 2021 is going to be another exciting year. We're opening New Orleans, 341 rooms right on the river. Fort Lauderdale at the very end of 21 or perhaps early 22. Minneapolis, can't open there soon enough in 2022. Nashville in 2022, and then a second property in Cabo, a smaller property. So just to give you a few bullets and some of the exciting properties for next year. Again, this is New Orleans. It's a historic building. It was the World Trade Center in New Orleans, which we have gone in and basically, as we say in the Midwest, it got rehab. So 341 rooms, ballroom, junior ballroom, great event spaces. It's located right where Canal Street runs into the river. You walk out the door right into the French Quarter. Just so many exciting places in New Orleans. They're like 5 minutes from the Superdome. It's really a fantastic location. And this is going to be opening May, June, and then we'll be taking groups starting Q3. These are just a few snapshots of what the property will be looking like. Interior of the function space and layout of the function space. Napa, we're so excited about Napa. We are up in Calistoga. There are fires up there now. We are hoping and praying that our resort and more importantly, all of our workers and employees that are up there are remaining safe. It's a 6-acre vineyard that we are built around. So we are going to be providing a full grape to table experience. We're very excited about this property. Arrival. And again, the vineyards come right up to the door of your guest room pretty much. So it's really going to be a unique new property for Four Seasons. And we are taking RFPs now. Spa. Great activities in Napa, and this is what the property will be looking like when completed. And the other property I wanted to highlight was Cabo. We're on a 2-mile stretch of beach. Rather than pulling out and going south to Cabo San Lucas, you're coming up to the East Cape. So rather than hotels back to back, side by side, you get this, which is just a completely different experience for Cabo, including a beautiful swimmable beach, pools, 140 guest rooms, low-rise buildings, every room faces the water. So a great Cabo experience as well. And we have operated both incentives and individual incentives there this year. We have an incentive operating there in November, and we also have some individuals. I did want to speak, we do not have a team in place yet in Minneapolis, but with Prestige headquartered there, so close to our hearts, I did want to share a little bit more detail about the Minneapolis property, which will be 222 guest rooms and suites, one of the largest pool decks in the city, so a great space for entertaining. The ballroom will be just under 7,000 square feet, and it is going to be Minneapolis's first 5-star hotel, so we're really excited about this property. So just to show you the location. And I will open it up for a final round of Q&A. And I think I've still seen some things coming into the chat box. So if Maddie or our team could just let us know what other questions are in there, we're happy to field them at this time.
Jamie, there is a question on the Belize project.
Belize?
Yes.
Okay, so Belize is still under construction, and I believe it's going to be late 21 or early 22. Very good, I'm impressed. Somebody's paying attention. There was another question in there about food and beverage and about food and beverage minimums.
That one was, are your contractual food and beverage minimums reflecting reduced capacities?
And the answer is yes.
The answer is yes. Yeah, very flexible on that. And you can't really do coffee breaks in some of the buffets. So definitely flexible to get terms that work for everybody.
Great. Are there any other questions for Four Seasons or for Prestige?
I'm just scrolling back up through. This is Maddie. Did we talk about employees and temp checks? Do all employees go through a temp check on a daily basis?
Yes, they do, both arrival and departure. Yeah, our employees are checked and questioned, and have they been anywhere outside of their hub of people? We're very careful to make sure that our employees are delivering the safest service possible. It's a great question.
Were there any other questions? I'm just scrolling up through. Were there any others that we missed for those of you who are still on?
Okay. I think that we'll end with a huge thank you for Prestige for hosting us for the call today. We're super excited to share what's happening with Four Seasons and what we're doing. We are extremely grateful for the partnership that we have with Prestige, and we look forward to working with all of you very soon, however it looks, to support future groups in the hotels. And Maddie, do you have any final comments?
No, thank you so much to everyone who attended. I did see another question about providing contact information. We will also send all of the information to help you connect with Four Seasons in a follow-up email later today.
Perfect.
As well as the recording and some supplemental information that Jamie and I will connect on shortly.
Perfect.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. We appreciate the opportunity to see you all.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie and team.